Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. A reminder that there is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about these markets. Welcome, guys. Happy Friday. It is decision day, or seemingly the leak decision day for the Bitcoin ETF. Really excited to see what sort of movements we get in price, and of course, to talk about it with you guys. But welcome. I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max and Jackus. Welcome, guys. Happy Friday. And if you guys haven't been in the stream throughout the week, Happy New Year. I'm sure you were all able to spend some time with your families and hopefully, it's such a meme for me to say this, and hopefully spend some time away from charts, right? Because we've all had our minds kind of a bit fixated on the charts, on the crypto markets, on markets in general, and really the ETF decision, right? Because it's kind of set the backdrop for this entire rally. So I know that we are all looking for a resolution to that situation within the market here, potentially even as soon as today, right? I mean, I know that the leak that came out yesterday was, or not yesterday, what am I saying? The leak that came out something like last week was that we could get a decision this Friday. I know we had a leak yesterday as well that kind of reinforced that idea. So maybe we finally do get some closure on the Bitcoin ETF. I'm very curious to see what it does to price. Do we get a sustainable trend out of it immediately, or do we get kind of like this evil Darth Maul candle? But real quickly, guys, before we get any more in depth talking about the markets, I would really love. But yeah, before we start sharing this alpha, I know Jackus said he had some yesterday before we went off air. We need you guys to smash that like button. It's Bitcoin ETF day today. I want to see us get to 100 likes. It's symbolic. And of course, in order to get to 100 likes, I'm sure we'll bug you again, but it always means a lot to us as a team when you guys engage and enjoy our content. But yeah, no, I mean, so far today's price action on Bitcoin and all, really more so altcoins than Bitcoin, looks especially weak. You would, this is what price action looks like when I'm guessing these altcoins are not getting an ETF announced today. What do you guys think? But yeah, no, I mean, altcoins are struggling under, I guess, probably supporting Bitcoin's price at this point. It's really going to be more telling when we do finally get that ETF announcement. How does Bitcoin trade? Is it going to put in this just massive Dalai Lama candle? Is it going to put in a Darth Maul candle where we trade both sides of the range and just wipe everybody out? I think I see a variety of possibilities, quite frankly. But the one thing that does seem to be occurring right now is we are seeing liquidity leave altcoin markets to support Bitcoin. People clearly have a vested interest in, at the very least, not just propping Bitcoin up, but probably bidding it as well into the ETF decision. So I'm very interested to see how this is going to transpire, especially when you have stocks and equities that have been showing weakness all week, but are now finally showing a bounce here on Friday. We'll probably get some continued reversion higher into next week. And I would anticipate at some point in January, you probably do get, a much larger move higher in equities as well. Potentially if crypto is front running legacy markets, that could be fun, but also a sign that equities, have a bit higher to go before they have any cool off period, right? Any sideways consolidation period. That's something that we have talked about as well. But yeah, guys, it is decision day. I don't know if you guys are trading the ETF. I'm personally not. I'm keeping my hands off of perps. I think that's probably the wisest thing to do in this situation, given I think there's pretty immense tail risk to both sides here, no matter what the decision is. Even if you're right as far as the decision goes. And I will say, I think we have the decision mostly priced in at this point. We have 99% chance of approval. The only thing I think that would catch the market off guard in this case would be a denial, which does not seem at all likely, right? I don't think that's likely, but there is tail risk still to both parties. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what this daily candle is going to end up closing as. What do you guys think? And what are you seeing in the markets this morning? Happy Friday.
You wanna go first, guys?
No, Jack is cook for us, man. Cook for us.
All right. Well, just plainly, as I've been saying, plainly looking at the chart the chart is telling me that there is most likely going to be a delay of the spot BTC ETF this time around, because I do not the chart is not shaped up either for upside or downside. So it's right in the middle of the range, and as I've been saying the past days after the dump, that we will spend many days ranging here before I do believe another higher time frame upside. So I do think delay, and then the approval will come later on. I do not know what's the next date, like March maybe, I think. But this time around, I do think we will see delay based on the chart simply. And I think there are actually some interesting metrics. By the way, Will or someone is typing. It's pretty loud though.
Might be Snorlax.
It's not
Snorlax,
me.
is that you? Or
It's not
Max,
me.
is that you?
Yeah,
What?
it's probably Max.
Am I typing?
Typing.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bad. I was typing something. My bad, guys. My bad, guys. I'll stop typing.
Yeah. So another interesting point regarding the spot ETF, right? So we have to. I think it's good to look at the gold example and use some portion of it really, because it like these two assets, they have lots of in common, obviously, and it can be good to be used for some extrapolation or so. So we have to look at the when GLD, which was like the first spot ETF for gold that was announced. It was in 2005, and the price was going up. And obviously, when we look at the timing, we have to realize that gold has been around for 5,000 years, or longer, of course, but like usable by the humanity. And so the time frames for the upsides and downsides there are much larger. We know that basically 1 year in crypto is a decade in TradFi. So we have to keep this in mind when we are talking about time frames, right? But we have to see that gold was basically going up 5 years straight into the spot ETF, and then the ETF was announced. And what happened, guys? Well, for the next 300 days, there was a minor drop, but gold basically went sideways and didn't do much. That's the truth. But then it really didn't stop its trend. By the way, yeah. Exactly. Thank you, Max, for showing this. As we can see, it really didn't do much after the listing. Like a minor drop, but more likely a sideways. And then it really picked up and went plus, basically, plus 350% up in the next 6 years, or so, or seven, whatever you have it. But that's pretty. I find some similarities with BTC right now. So like BTC is going up as well, heading into the highly likely spot ETF approval. We do not know if it comes this year, next year. Who knows? I do think it comes this year, but maybe they even can postpone it into next year. And in the meantime, we can have everyone waiting for the approval. In the meantime, the price keeps appreciating. And then there is the approval, right? And maybe, we are going to pull back some. Maybe we will start ranging, absorbing. Who knows? But I could see a scenario after where the price appreciates, not just because of the spot ETF, obviously. There's so many factors out there why BTC should go up. But this is one of them too. It's a good confluence, right? So if you look at gold, it went up 350 days after the approval, and just if we apply the same analogy for BTC from the current prices, and we could be way higher when the ETF is approved, maybe lower too, possible. But that gives us approximate target of 200,000 for BTC, basically. And also we have to keep in mind that BTC is way lower market cap than gold, so, right? So, and as I keep on reminding to you guys, lower market cap assets, they have higher percentages moves, right? So that could lead us to even higher prices. So, and you guys know that I kept reminding that you know we are heading into this decade of commodities where gold and hard commodities will be appreciating, gold, oil, and silver. And I do think if gold will be appreciating this decade, well, there's further pressure for BTC. So I do really think we are heading into a major decade for Bitcoin, where everything is freaking lining up, right? Regulatory clarity, spot Bitcoin ETF, decade of commodities, major world adoption, countries adopting, blah blah. Like there is so much stuff heading into it, right? So I do think, and by the way, also what is very interesting is, there is a good argument, and I think it's a valid argument, and I think it will play out, is about the recession, right? I do think the recession comes somewhere between end of 2024 to end of 2025. I could be wrong, again, as I said many times, I cannot predict exactly when. I do have my estimates, but I was saying we are bullish until then. But what I want to point out is if we look at the gold chart, we are seeing that during this bull market, you would not even know it went through a recession. But it has, during 2008, there was a big pullback on gold. It actually went about 30%, which may not sound like much, but in gold terms, that's freaking a lot, right? That would be like minus 60 probably for BTC in 2008 and 9. And then what happened during those times? Well, gold broke out new all-time highs. Then 2008 happened. It retested price support and continued higher. And that's the same what can happen to BTC, right? So lots of confluence there. And I do think, and by the way, some of the latest statistic that got to my hands is that most financial advisors in US are looking, like 88% are looking to buy after the spot Bitcoin ETF is approved, not before. Okay, only 12% are purchasing before the ETF approval, 88% after. So once again, lots of confluences, and back to you guys.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. And there's this old saying, right? It's like 1 year in crypto is 10 years in legacy markets. And there is certainly some truth to that. But something to consider with this little fractal I just quickly put together to show what happened after the ETF got approved, which obviously was, kind of just went straight up in a straight line for looks like 7 years, 8 years. Something to consider is, this fractal was squished down to basically, half of a year, which it's Bitcoin, right? That can definitely happen on any given day in crypto. But you have to keep that in mind that it's a materially different time frame and environment. And I want to talk about the ETF in the sense, like, it's so widely debated and there's so much noise around it and so much speculation, and this big debate of, well, how much of it is actually priced in and how much of it has yet to come. And I want to contextualize it like this. Actually, I'm gonna pull up a chart here. So let's take a look at, let's throw on the halving cycles. Okay, so this is Bitcoin, and I just threw ETH on there as well. Bitcoin's orange, ETH is in the blue. We don't really need ETH on there, but I was making a little chart that I might post later, so just something to consider. Let's take the ETF completely out of the equation. Like, the ETF doesn't exist. It's not a topic we're debating. It's a non-factor. It literally does not exist. Okay. Buying Bitcoin and starting to, accumulate digital assets roughly this distance out from a Bitcoin halving has typically yielded some pretty solid results. Okay. And, it doesn't mean that there's not shakeouts or anything like that. But actually, I'm gonna get rid of ETH here. We'll just look at Bitcoin. You're typically just looking at market structure and recognizing that this is bullish market structure, right? This has been a very, very bullish year. And when you get a prolonged period of bullish TA, it's like a it's not like a jet ski that you can just, crank the handles and do a U-turn. It's like a giant it's like a giant barge. It takes a long time to turn around. It's not something that just immediately turns around. Okay. It can take months, if not years, to actually turn around and for the trend to shift. Very similarly, on that notion, I mean, look how once we started the bearish momentum, look how long, and we just kept going and going and going. Everyone's like, that's it. That's got to be it. We're at support. No, keep going, keep going, keep going. The exact same thing is happening now the other way, where we've got a lot of strong momentum going into the Bitcoin halving. Okay, so yes, you could say, well, Max, look what happened here right before the Bitcoin halving, roughly this distance out. And you would be correct, right? But I think we could all recognize that this was, in fact, an anomaly, a statistical outlier.
Yeah,
I don't really want to debate, what would the chart look like, or what would things have been like following this period if the March 2020 capitulation didn't happen. I'm not really interested in that because I could say one thing and I could believe it, and you would say, well, no, that's incorrect, and we'd have no way of figuring out who's right and who's wrong. It's just a thing that happened, but you can't plan for something like this. I mean, this is madness, right? I think it
Max.
probably just would have done something like this, and we would have gotten a parabola. Okay, but positioning this distance out from a Bitcoin halving has typically been pretty smart. So ETF news aside, we have bullish price action. Things are looking very strong from a technical perspective. And we're pretty close to a Bitcoin halving. And I feel like a lot of people are only focused on Larry Fink and the ETF, and hopefully BlackRock comes and saves us and pumps our bags. Well, where was BlackRock right here? Where was BlackRock in July of 2016? Where was BlackRock in May of 2020? They weren't here, and Bitcoin still went on to melt face. So that's great that they're here to play, but I don't think that we need them to go up. I think we could get a nice little spike in the short term. I certainly think that if we get a spot ETF approval in the next week, maybe even today, who knows, we're going to see a lot of hedges come off the board, and we're going to see price probably melt to the upside in the very, very short term, lower time frame type of stuff. Okay. But beyond that, I don't think we really need it, like I think we're going to go up regardless, truthfully. I think there's
Uh,
plenty of reasons that we should go up regardless of the ETF.
I think people are so dependent on news and so news driven when it comes to price that they don't understand news has nothing to do with price outside of spikes, right? Like price directionality has been price directionality regardless of negative or positive news. And that was to the downside. And everybody's like, oh, more negative news, oh, more negative news. No, the market was depreciating an asset that was way over appreciated. And then, oh, more positive news. Oh, more positive. The only reason it's going up because positive news. The only reason it's going up. There's been plenty of negative news on this run up, tons of it, and the market continues to run. And again, it's about volume and flows. And I continue to talk about that every single show because I think so many people are just so caught up in this, weird mindset that they can figure out the market by the news. And news catalysts, they're just it's not a thing. Like all news is there to do is keep you distracted from reality, at least in my perspective, right? Like if you listen to CNN, half the time they're wrong at the worst possible times when it comes to investing. If you listen to MSN, half the time, I wouldn't even say half. I'd say like 80 to 90% of the time, they're wrong when it comes to like if you went to, I think it was CNBC was one of the first ones, right? That said Tesla, in 2012 had the worst year possible. May not be a good investment at all. Nobody should probably be looking to buy it. And then all of a sudden, look at Tesla in 2021, one of the best companies you could have owned through the decade. You had to own it though prior to 2012 to be able to do that. And they don't even understand money. Like people are listening to people that talk about world events and that don't understand money. News does not know money. They don't. They're not analysts or any of that stuff. Like they're just a bunch of people that sit there and report random things that happen in the world. And so many people don't understand that.
Yeah, there is good talk. Well, I agree. I wanted to address before we pass maybe to Tommy. I want to address few comments there. So Eldar, great comment. He said earlier, catch you live today. Yesterday's episode was so fire, I had to demolish that notification icon. Now that's what we love. Benji said, like smashed. This is the way we do it here. We smash the like button. And then Lewis was putting a good comment around the gold and BTC relation, right? So he said you had to physically buy gold before the ETF. I don't know if that's a good thing to compare it to. Well, you have to buy physical Bitcoin as well, man, before
It's the
the
same
ETF
thing.
here. It's the same thing. It's just that in before we like you had to buy physical gold for the entirety of human history. We are just now in the 21st century transitioning from physical to digital, but that's like this analogy doesn't make any sense because
Chakis. You,
go,
you you know what that reminds me of?
tell me.
You have to buy CDs to actually own the songs,
No, no,
Yeah,
Will. Let
right?
me give you a better
yeah,
one. Let
They
me
don't
give you
even
a better
exist
one.
anymore.
Will,
They don't even
let me give
exist
you a better
anymore.
one. Let me give you a better one. That was pretty good, but let me give you a better one. The equivalent is they're going to look at this and go, before BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, you had to self custody your own crypto. How scary.
yeah,
That's what they're going to say.
yeah, legit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no, these are great to foresee before it happens, right? But in hindsight, it will be obvious.
people don't understand. A lot of people, and this is not a laugh at the person who said that. It's more of an education point. A lot of people don't understand that self custody is physical ownership. That's what it is. Whereas if you go through something like uh, we'll say BlackRock or whatnot to buy Bitcoin, you're basically going through a fund to purchase it. You don't actually own the asset yourself outright. It's just like if I buy a stock through TD Ameritrade, right? Like I own the stock, but the stock exists on TD Ameritrade. That's where it exists. Bitcoin is the only true ownership of any asset that nobody is middlemaning. Nobody's managing that position. That's why there's no margin cost. There's nothing to it when you go and buy Bitcoin outside of transaction cost, right? There's a transaction cost, and then it's almost like in the early 1900s when you would own the physical copy of the stock, right? They would give you the paper stock in hand.
Yeah,
You have it now. You own that stock. Well, in with Bitcoin, they give you the digital code of that asset. You put it on your ledger or in your wallet. You own it. You now physically own that Bitcoin. Same thing with any crypto out there. People just have to get their mindset in that the world has switched from physical to digital, but it's still the same ownership, right? You still own what it is. If somebody hands you a website, they're handing you the keys to the website. That means they no longer have access to it. You own that website. It's yours. Nobody else can access it or backdoor it. Now, if you're going to like GoDaddy.com and you're paying a monthly subscription, guess what? There's a middleman involved with that. You don't own that website. Nobody built it for you. GoDaddy owns that website pretty much, and you rent it from them. Same thing like with a lot of stocks and stuff like that. So again, it goes back to understanding how an asset works versus saying that there's no similarities to something when in reality there is. Unless you're a watchmaker, right? If you're a watchmaker and you're like, oh, I had to buy the physical gold and turn it into watches, then okay, that's a little bit different, right? But I don't think anybody in the audience is a watchmaker who's buying physical gold to turn it into watches. If you're talking about in the context or if they're talking about in the context they were talking about it, they were probably talking about gold bars or gold in general, buying it by the ounce. And in that case, you're buying Bitcoin by the sats, right? It's the same thing. It's just weight versus, volume or whatnot. And I tried to explain this to somebody the other day because they were like, oh, what's an ordinal? If you buy an ordinal, you don't actually own the Bitcoin that it exists on. You do, because the ordinal, and I'm not trying to get into ordinals discussion, but the ordinal exists on sats, right? Which sats are part of Bitcoin. You think about sats as like pennies to your dollar. So if you had a dollar bill and you have a bunch of pennies that make up that dollar bill, each sat's a penny. But it's not actually 100 to 1. It's, I think it's like 10,000 to 1, or so on and so forth. So you can buy portions of a Bitcoin just like you can buy portions of a dollar or whatnot. So these are all like, I guess, more ideologies or understandings of how digital ownership works versus, you know, people thinking that there's some kind of imaginary transaction and then out comes money pop. No, it doesn't work like that. It's an investment. I think also I wanted to touch on one more thing, and that's the BlackRock thing. I think so many people think that they're going to come in, use this cycle to dump on everybody. Look, BlackRock's not in the boat to go and buy an asset and dump it 6 months later. I think so many people are missing the plot here. It's not even funny. They're not going to come in and do this type of things like most people think they are. They're coming into an asset to control it, to buy it, to own it, and probably own the majority share of it. They see what Sailor's doing, and I think they're going to try and front run him. What's that?
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to get to, there's like a comment section here or something like that on Twitter, and some dude's like shilling his website. So I was trying to go to there to see how I get rid of that, but it's whatever. My bad, Will. Keep going. Keep
Oh,
cooking.
you're no, you're good. Yeah, I think again, it comes down to understanding things. People just don't understand how digital ownership works, just like they don't understand how physical ownership works. Again, back to the analogy. What did we transition from when it came to video? Well, we started out with what? We started out with the reels, and then we went into VHSs, and then we went into digital, right? Actually, we went into DVDs, and then we went into digital. Same thing with music. We went records into tapes, into CDs, and now if you want to go and get a song, you can buy it individually, right? Rather than buy the whole album off of the Apple iTunes store, and guess what? You own it. It's yours. You have full ownership of it, so on and so forth. But there is a middleman involved with that, so it's not exact ownership, but you do own it. So those are the type of things that a lot of people gotta, just kind of break your mentality away from and understand the difference between uh, ownership and of a physical item and ownership of a digital item. They can be exactly the same, one and the same.
Yeah. All right, guys. Now before we continue on with this discussion, guys, if you could just take one quick moment and hit that like button or that thumbs up button for us, guys. It does wonders for the algorithm. It does wonders for the channel and for our growth. And we thank you guys so much for being here and supporting us on a daily basis. A reminder, if you are new here, this is Market Check brought to you by Because Bitcoin. This is our daily live show now on YouTube and X. So a lot of you guys are now watching on X, which is pretty cool that we can stream to two places at once. But if you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up, hit that like, and then also, if you are new, please consider subscribing or following so that you can be made aware of when we go live again on a daily basis. Second, this stream is being sponsored by Bing X. You will see their logo in the bottom right corner. They've been sponsoring us, pretty passively for about a month now. And we threw their logo on there. They just landed a really cool new partnership with a big soccer team. So congrats to them. And also, if you're looking for a great exchange, check out the link in the description below where you can sign up. And actually, it helps support us. It's I don't even really know exactly what it is, but it does help support us a little bit as a young channel. So we're here for free every single day doing these. And if you guys trade and you want to help out a little bit, definitely consider signing up with that link below and checking them out. They're doing really cool things over there. But I have this chart pulled up here, guys, and I mentioned this earlier. It really just comes down to higher time frame positioning. And I mean, we can we can go crazy, looking at this thing every which way, right? And I drew this out earlier. I was going to post this in our Discord, but I didn't yet. This lower time frame stuff is, I mean, look at this price action. This is awful, right? This is terrible. All these little moves up, down, up. I mean, just chop churn. You're excited at the highs. You're in despair at the lows. We're recovering. Oh no, now we're going back down, right? So we're going to take out some of the noise here. All right, we're going to put these back on. So we're going to get rid of all the wicks. All right, this is the 4-hour chart. It worked. You can do this on any time frame. This is Bitcoin, and just look at it. It's just still respecting the lows, right? Like every single set of lows is being respected. You know, look at this. Every single set of lows, we're bouncing into demand. Again, it's like the same thing that we saw beforehand over here with this vertical accumulation. The same thing, in my opinion, could be happening right here, where you can see that all these lows, again, they're just being respected all the way up. And everybody gets really excited at the highs, like we're going to break out. And then nothing really happens, and you go back and you retest the low, but you maintain higher time frame market structure, and the trend remains intact. So I don't know. I'm just saying it can feel a little bit scary, when you got these big wicks and these big shakeouts, but you turn some of this stuff off and you recognize, oh, these are really just stop loss hunts. There's a lot of hunting going on, especially into a very highly anticipated catalyst or news headline. There's a ton of risk holding leverage right now. And I think that there's a lot of people maybe overly hedged or putting too much weight on an event like this. So yeah, I'm really just focused on this market structure right here.
Hey,
Are we going to
Max,
continue to hold these lows?
just to add to your market structure there, could you go back to the previous one?
Yeah.
Why don't you drag it on the candlestick just to entertain a couple different ideas, because I think people should definitely keep expectations grounded, understand this is an accumulation range and it's going to break out at some point. But so the other one, the top one, sorry, and then change it back to the candlestick, and then drag that out more in a way that the wick there is incorporated in that uptrend, but it's still the uptrend.
Like this?
Yeah, and you could probably drag that top circle out a little more to kind of more less parabola it. Yeah, yeah. Further out. Yeah, yeah. It could even be something like that, right? And it could take some time to get out of this range. So people's expectations should stay grounded, but just understand that the trend is going to continue to move upwards. That's just the momentum of the move here. So regardless of whether it takes longer or whether it takes sooner, the point being is that the trend is continuing to move to the upside, and we are getting those higher lows. Higher highs are structurally great. They work out amazingly, but you can look for one side or the other, right? You can see support and then see lower highs and assume that price is going to break down. And I say assume, even though you should take the higher likely trade, which is it would break down if that were the case. Um, just like you could see higher lows and see resistance straight across and still assume that that's going to break out of that resistance because of the higher low structure. So many people I think are looking for higher high, higher low, and they're not seeing that because that's the way a lot of new traders are taught, that they're getting in these things thinking that resistance is going to stay resistance, when in reality, because you are getting higher lows and you're just getting flat tops, you're going to keep breaking out in big moves to the upside, right? So if you were to draw a line off the previous parabola and you were to just say there's a cap there, we'll just draw a line, straight line across, and there was a resistance, eventually price just, more or less broke straight out of that resistance once it ended up squeezing to the far side of that move. And even the current move, we did get a little bit of a higher high there, but if we were to draw a line straight across and just say, that's our resistance, we are moving into that squeeze move with the higher lows, and I think that'll end up breaking out to the upside again. And a lot of people will miss the move for the next one. And when it breaks out, that's a big move, right? If you were to take that leg out and that accumulation across and lay it on top of our current leg out and accumulation across, I think you're looking at some pretty decent upside. And this is almost a 1, 2, 3 structure too. To add to that, like we're only in the second wave of the whole move. You should still get a third push here. That's gonna look very similar to these other accumulations, That's going to push price, I think exceedingly high, and a lot of people are going to completely miss the plot.
Guys, Rob Z had absolutely top comment. I love so hard.
Which one?
The latest one.
I love Bing X. I wake up to their liquidation stuff every morning. They're always so warmly worded. Oh man, that's a funny comment. It happens, man. You got to be safe out there. Yeah, only trade with money that you can afford to lose, man. You got to always be smart when trading with leverage, no question about it. And most people don't even really realize what perps are there for. Like the appropriate way to trade with perps is basically like hedging. We don't use it like that, but you should own 10 Bitcoin. And then if you're feeling bearish, you don't have to sell your spot Bitcoin. You can, collateralize a very small amount of stable coins and short 10 Bitcoin on perps and create a delta neutral strategy. Like, but that's not the way that people use them, which is why we get giant wicks like this one right down here, where people get completely toasted and we kind of flash crash down $5,000 because people are trading inappropriately. Like that's the truth. Is it's very glamorized margin trading, and you see these giant P&Ls, and the bonk guy turns 16K into 10 million. Yeah, I mean, for every one guy that does that, there's 100,000 that literally blow up their account or round trip a trade and don't take any profit. So just just be smart. If you're trading with leverage, just try to be smart, and it's best to just position and spot if you believe in the asset. But Jackus, would you be able to share your screen for a little bit? You had some great charts that you were working on. I'd love to go over some of them.
Which ones?
All of them.
You're that juicy alpha.
Yeah.
The juicy alpha comes with a price, though. We know the price. Has that price been accomplished, Max?
We're getting close. We're getting closer. No, I wouldn't say we've done it yet, but I think Jackus, what would be good is if you start sharing your charts, people will get excited and they'll say, "Wow, he's holding
All right.
back on me." I'm gonna really hit that like button, and then we're gonna see all the alpha. Then he's gonna drop it all on us at once. So I think maybe give him something, but hold a little bit back until we reach our goals.
All right, all right. One sec. Should be there.
Okay, Chef Jack is gonna cook. Let's go. And also pretty funny, Jack, is you tweeted out that move perfectly. Oh no, he's back on the soybeans. Oh my gosh. Those of you that have been watching this show for a while, you know what this is. This is Chinese water torture is what this is. Oh no.
I couldn't help myself.
Oh man, we can't. It's so boring.
All right, all right. Yeah, what is it you wanted to discuss, Max? You were going to say
Anything.
something.
I like your USDT dominance plan. I like your DXY chart. I like you called that Bitcoin move pretty clearly as well on your Twitter right before it happened yesterday. So
Yeah.
maybe
Actually,
paint the higher time frame picture for us, if you would.
I don't know, Max. I'm really not feeling like sharing the alpha just yet, There is a certain price and the alpha costs something. So we'll see what I can share, but the alpha has been met. The first streaming day, guys. The first streaming day. You guys were absolutely awesome. We hit a record of the likes. It was very deserved. I dropped the alpha and it played out, right? It was totally worth it. But let me, show me, guys, that you appreciate the content because we are not dumping on you our shill coins, right? We are not doing private deals or any of that shady stuff. We are honest, right? We are sharing quality. But in order to keep doing that, we we need something back. We need to grow, and that, by the way, helps you too because the more viewership we get, the more alpha we can get you, the more content and hosts and anything, right? So it's a really win-win scenario. And right now, there are only 54 likes. We have 86 people watching. That's not 1-to-1 ratio. You guys have 2 accounts. You know what to do. So when there's a 110 likes, 110, I'm dropping the alpha. Okay, there is always some amazing stuff that nobody shares out there. I've worked, like, the reason also, like, I want to share this stuff with you, but at the same time, I cannot give it out too cheaply. I'm not doing copy pasta of anyone. People are copy pasting me, right? I spent several, you need to understand, I spent several years of hard work, depression, suicidal thoughts, and all of that in the markets. And you know you just need to deserve the alpha as well. So yeah, and in that time I can look around and see what's up. See what's up. Are there any takers you guys would love to see in the meantime? Like, I can look around though. Let me know in the comments. What shit coins you want me to look at?
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see ticker Bitcoin.
We were looking at that yesterday, Will.
No, I'm just. But yeah, we can look at it.
I actually like the look of ticker Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You'll never guess what I overlaid on it yesterday, Jackus. It was that vet BTC chart.
You did it too?
Yeah, I put it on ticker Bitcoin.
What is the chart we used it for? It was something, I think, Vara. Right?
I
Yeah,
think so.
VARA, I think.
Yeah. Actually, let me see Vara first. So yeah, this is what I meant yesterday, right? That we are right on this phase, and you basically, you can do this stuff. Ooh, look at that beauty. I can look at that. What do you say, Will?
I say, glad we got our bags packed. I'll see you guys on the moon.
Look at the pump today, though, right? Yesterday we talked about it. Look at that pump. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it looks great, man. Like, yeah, we talked about the other day. Dropped it to him, and man,
like, this is a clean bottom accumulation, right? This is a market makers uh pumping but accumulating within the pump. Then they retrace it, right? People that bought the pump, they are slowly getting bored selling. You know how the feelings are if you hold the position all the way
yeah,
from here.
they're exiting because again, this is patience versus no patience, right? This market tends to shake out the impatient, and it tends to reward the patient. And a lot of people they miss the plot when it comes to that, right?
Yeah.
They come into these video games we call markets, and they treat the first boss as if it's the final boss, and they're only on round one. They come in, they kill that boss, and they see they have 80 more rounds to go, and they're like, I just don't want to do it, right? And then their friend comes and tells them, hey, it only took me 5 minutes to complete the round, and the prize winning was $100,000 if you would have completed it, but you didn't complete it. Why? Because you're looking for satisfaction over actually making money in these markets. A lot of people come to these markets with that satisfaction mindset, and it's really it's how we're almost taught in school, right? And I posted on this the other day, and I said, rich people buy assets, poor people buy things to make them look rich, and that's really the reality of things. I think a lot of people don't understand that concept.
No, they don't. Well, they absolutely do not. But some of our, smarter audience, they do. They keep learning. They keep winning. That's the people we are here for. This is not a cheap shill. This is not a, cheap cheap content. We are spreading alpha every single day. So, but we know you guys appreciate it. We remember those guys that show up every day here. So love you guys. Yeah, this is Illuvium before the pump, right? This is Vara. So right now you are in one of these pumps, right? And it can, maybe there's another drop, another pump, another drop. You need to understand that there is a there is a like a accumulation period, and it can be prolonged slightly, but then boom, right? Then boom, and it's really the same thing. They like the structure here is slightly different. The chain versus BTC was way more perfect, fitting on this chart. But the psychology behind these two charts is legit the same. And this pump is the same as this pump. Now you're in the boredom phase and in the, make them sell, and then you will get this. Suddenly you will get this at some point. This is how these charts play out. Yeah. Actually, let me.
Jackus, you know that meme of the guy? He's on the phone and he's like, "He sold," and then it pumps right after.
The
That's where it's
Bogdanov.
at right now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He sold.
He sold Bumpy.
That happened to me recently. I'm not gonna say what sticker it was in, but I literally
Oh,
it was like midnight and I'm in bed and I was like, why do I even own this? I'll just put it in something I care about more. And like within a week after that, it literally 2x'd and I waited in it for like 60 days and missed it.
yeah. I mean,
He sold.
that happened to all of us, man.
That's
Trust
the
me.
worst.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you want to know why I haven't sold Lucid yet, that's exactly why. I know the second, the second I sell, it's gonna like quadruple, and
That's
I'm gonna
gonna
be
be
like, dude,
some big announcement or something like
yeah. I'm just like, I have to have that long term mindset when it comes to investing right now. I can't be the dumb
yeah.
person.
Yeah. So, uh, is this how you guys overlaid the
More or less, yeah. That was how I was doing it.
fractal? Yeah.
Actually had it trading a little bit lower before it eventually ripped up.
To
But
be
I will
honest,
say it was kind of interesting yesterday. I'm sure you guys saw it, how quickly the timeline soured on Ethereum after the ETH beta finished its its short closing bounces.
I'm not gonna, Tommy, bro. Like, oh my gosh, the saltiness of people on ETH right now. It's not even funny. Like, it is. The more salt, the more bullish I am.
It's
I just
bullish salt,
I get
Will.
so bullish when people get salty because it's like, dude,
When
you are literally probably selling the bottom right now of the entire move.
when is the blast lockup done? Because that's going to play a big role in ETH outperformance.
That I don't know.
Let me
um,
see, figure it out.
by
I
the way,
think the blast will help, but like, I don't know. I
It's
think
got
the
a billion
blast
in
is like its own
TVL.
thing. Well, not really that as much as like I think like blast is going to be it's a sleeper in itself, right? I think a lot of people are just sleeping on it as far as like its potential and what it can do, especially for ETH. So like I think overall, like nobody's gonna pay attention to Blast till like ETH's halfway through its run, right? And then Blast is gonna be somewhere in the middle of that run and push it even higher.
Looks like it unlocks in February.
by the way,
Yeah.
Tommy, with this fractal, I have only one problem, and that's the difference where it happened. So with WeChain, it was like dumping prior to it, right? And here it's after this, right? So right now it's like bullish market with a giant sort of scheme, whereas here it was after bear market, right? And so it's like this, right? If it was like this, that would be different. But with this one, I could see them faking this low.
I could as well. I could definitely see that as well. I mean, if we don't see strength near like 6 cents, then I definitely think it's going back down there. For on chain though, that's really not too large of a move, at least for holders of ticker Bitcoin. That's probably, and they'll take this as a compliment with me saying it. Like that's probably the most mentally ill community in all of crypto Twitter. Like the 33% drop is nothing for them.
And they take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Wait. So are you telling me that it's like I would love to see this battle?
A battle
between these two communities.
Oh God. Most of the miladies are holding ticker Bitcoin, or there's a lot of
so
intermingling.
that.
Here comes Max. He said so shocking.
No, I didn't. Oh man. I was cooking up something on the charts. I didn't even look at that, man.
Yeah.
What even is the price of a milady right now?
That's funny.
Oh yeah, that's the reason you guys were watching the chart. That's a mistake. There are some requests from earlier, so I'll go over those. SNX.
See, that looks like Solana before it pumped, which is pretty crazy. I don't know if it'll do the same thing, but when I look at it, I can't help but see it.
Such a weird chart, man. It's like Link, where it should have went way higher than it did, but it just
Link.
ETH hasn't probably had the
Link. Listen.
Why should Link have gone higher, Tommy? I don't understand.
Link
broke out of a 2-year consolidation.
Oh,
Link was shown all the way down here. All the way what is going to happen.
Why does Link need a token?
Here we go again.
Oh, you're asking the right person. Wow, we're crapping on Link
for staking,
not here.
For node validating, and for people who think that it needs a token.
I'm cool with it. That's fine. I just wanted to know.
No, I mean if you're not a dev, I don't know why you own it, but you know.
It kind of looks like it's establishing value up here, and it's probably going to move higher. Actually,
I want first this low to get swept.
Jackus is never allowed to be a market maker. He would be so mean. He'd be so terrible to trade against. He's come for all of your stops, man. Look at that. Look at what he wants. It's terrible.
That's how I learned the markets by watching these market makers rape me over and over again. You know.
Well, Max and I have a joke that you learn the most about trading and what not to do by just having to sit in an underwater position and watch price, like how it behaves.
Yeah.
Wait, this is not a joke. Reminds me of? That's alpha, Tommy. That's alpha. No one's
that is alpha.
You guys know what that reminds me of?
What does that remind you of?
It reminds me of the people that it's their first time in prison, and then they go in. There's a Snickers on their pillow.
Here we go.
And they see the Snickers on their pillow, but they learn real fast that they shouldn't pick up and eat that Snickers on their pillow, and that's not an actual gift. It's an offering. You offering yourself for the Snickers. So,
Will, what the heck, man? What? How do you know that that's something that happens?
When you come into these markets and you just start diving in, nose diving, the markets tend to try to give you free Snickers, and then they're going to end up taking something back for that Snickers. So
Well,
it's
I'm genuinely concerned about this example that you're sharing right now. It just
this is the type of market we live in. It's very predatory. That's what I'm basically getting to.
yeah.
Yeah. So
They
using
they
Will's
prey on the weak-minded who want the Snickers.
using Will's example, do not use this support. That's the Snickers, right? Be the one who picks up later on below
Don't take
this
the
wall.
Snickers. All right, that's what I'm telling people. Don't take the Snickers.
Take the burger.
You have to find your own way.
Oh,
Wait
baby.
for your commissary to come in, and you'll be fine.
Gonna make me order one for lunch, Jackus.
Hope it's tasty, man.
Oh
But
man,
like,
it's gonna be delicious. That's the problem.
look at it, guys. Who could have foreseen it? Bounce here, take the stop, right?
I don't know if it goes all the way back down to that wick, Jackus. I could see like a 50% fill on Caspa. Like it moves halfway down that wick, but
No, it already played out, uh, and now the only question is how deep the wick is going to go, right? This is an actual alpha no one's telling you. And we are not even at 100 likes, guys. Like, what the fuck?
can you go back to Caspa, Jackus?
He said what? Oh shoot! Jax is like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure we spend the next like 3 months following that path right there.
Okay, so guys, whenever I post these squigglies, do not look at the timing. It's only for clean visual representation. So I don't do like, like this, It's I just expanded though. So I'm not saying we spend like till March going down, right? It was about the levels, and it was posted you know like we talked about it in BB Discord before the move. I was saying this is probably going to be used as a support initially, and then there will be drop below this wick low, while this support needs to be front run, and that has already played out. And the question now remains only how deep of a wick fill are we going to get, and there are any chances we can only come back and retest these lows, right? We can come half of the wick, and we can come back and just do something like which I think is going to happen, is where like there is some shit like this. We sweep only this, like we sort of sweep this again, but we front run this one and then reverse. And you've seen it first here. What else is there? Say,
The Super Saiyans.
I'm not even going to provide the
I think people
reasoning
trying to get
anymore.
into say at this point are like late to the party. I just want to throw that out there. Like I know a lot of people are like, "Hey, there's a green candle over here, guys. Look at this. Look at this." It's like you're literally grabbing the Snickers off the pillow. That's what you're doing right now.
But what you can do is eat only like 2-3 bites of the Snickers and then put it back on the pillow, on say, in my
As long
opinion.
as nobody's looking. As long as nobody's looking.
Yeah. So I do think it can continue higher still. That's like these charts sometimes have this scaling, right? It's definitely, you need to keep in mind that like it's up 800%, right? Which doesn't mean it doesn't go up 1,500%, but you're essentially buying on this weekly candle this high up. So you need to understand the risks. You need to understand. I do think it still goes higher, right? But um, but yeah, not too early. Sorry, it's not early anymore. Um, I'd say though, especially like on this hard time frame leg up. right? Like we are not talking like the next 1-2 years, but like on this hard time frame, like up. Yeah. LDO. I'll do LDO and then I
I was
quit.
so disappointed this could not get more of a breakout.
Which?
LDO.
Oh, it will. No worries.
Evil chart.
Let me use a clean chart, actually. Okay. Okay, I can do with this one, right? So it's absolutely amazing looking chart. And here we are sitting on we are basically sitting on this resistance sort of ish. I would probably use this one. And it's possible we may spend, like a week or two in here. After all, LDO has been catching up on ETH. And that's what I said, that LDO is in a cheap discount and it will reprice. It has, but ETH is trading right now, it's already broken here and retested. So I'm very comfy, and the moment ETH goes to 3,600, it's like LDO up here. So yeah, very very comfy hold all the way from this this retest. I was buying down on this retest, on the weekly retest. Very nice structure. It's very clean chart, to be honest. Higher high, higher low, higher high. We made the new high here. If you want to use this one.
How does it look against? How does LDO ETH look right now, Jackus? Keep an eye on that much.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like it's. I mean, it's kind of in like this like broadening wedge pattern a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good.
What else is needed? Nothing. Looks very good. Like there can be a small pullback here, right? We fill some of that wick, retest here. But yeah, this is very awesome. Awesome looking chart, and I expect higher. Same goes for LDO BTC, right? Look what they did though, right? That they swept this low and this one, and then they pumped it, make the market structure break here, and then they swept it again before pumping. So I feel very, very comfy, right? We do not go below here. We do probably retrace to here.
It seems like a lot of alt BTC and alt ETH pairs are just after the recent buybacks are just looking to do a similar move to that LDO BTC chart that you have. Just pull back a little bit and then continue their moves up. But it seems like
Yeah.
today and who knows, maybe this weekend, a lot of altcoins will most likely continue to bleed, reaccumulate, and then hopefully move back up. But the higher time frame structures still look pretty good, even though we are getting some red across the board right now.
Rob Z says, "Can we talk about Soul?"
Yes, we can. That gets topped locally for sure. I was in the camp that if we V recovered off the low, 140, 150 in that vicinity, I thought we could trade it again. That would make sense before some sort of cool down. And now I think you're probably going to see some sort of cool down at this point. Probably going deeper, in my opinion.
Yeah, so we had we broke above this significant level, and I think this is going to be used as a support, at least temporarily. But the question is it like going to be like dead cat bounce, right? And then we make the big pullback, the scary one, and or is it that we hold down here, and then maybe this is the scary one. We'll see. I would need to see some rotation inside of here that takes over like at least 30 days in this green box. Otherwise, I still think that like there are actually people that okay, I have never seen this, and I find it highly unlikely, but anything can happen in the chart. But I just find it pretty crazy that like from straight up bear market we just go straight up. Just it just seems weird to me without weekly reaccumulation. Like you want to see something of this kind, right? Before the next leg.
You won't
And
be able to build confidence once you get past a certain level. Like people will just not buy it. That's what I try to tell people all the time. Like you can't build confidence by going straight up. Like there's a certain point where people are like this thing's way overbought. I'm not getting involved with it. This is why the market has pullbacks. It has pullbacks to keep building confidence. If the move is going to continue to move up, it's going to build confidence. And the way it builds confidence is it moves up systematically, stops, takes a breath, accumulates, and then moves up again. And then people feel more confident to move. Anything that goes, it's like holding your gas pedal to the floor in a car. Eventually, your motor is going to blow up, right? So you just have to look at it like, okay, I can hit my gas and floor it for a while, but I got to let off the gas for a little bit to let it cool down. Even though I'm still running, I'm just not running at the same speed.
yeah, this really looks like a blow off top. This one.
Aku asked about Tau.
Bit tensor. We were talking about AI yesterday.
Oof.
Yeah, looks a little bit rough.
Oof. I mean, could maybe. Oh, that's deep. Yeah, I mean
This is
that's a
a
crazy run, man. That went from what, $20 to 400.
but Max, this is exactly why you don't buy breakouts. You don't know where you're buying in the breakout, right? Like a lot of people, they want to chase so bad.
I mean, the time to buy this was when it was pushing all-time high, back in November, like trying to buy it before that big move, but here I don't I mean, I suppose I could see it coming back down to like 150 and maybe holding there. 180. That wouldn't surprise me, but
Yeah,
it's
generally, if like there are two ways to buy this. You start DCAing the moment it hits 62% retracement level, the classic, and then you start DCAing lower, or you wait for a range to happen in this, because it's probably like once again, guys, this year I said I wanna work more on my expressions, because when I do this squiggly, I do not mean we go down here and straight up in V-shaped reversal. All right, this is what I'm expecting as for levels. It can, however, happen like like something like this. It can take longer time, then we can go sideways. So basically, when I'm doing, and obviously here this would be the same with the squigglies, right? So I do not know if like this happens first. I only know the levels, right? So when I would do this, that's basically the same I did previously, right? I'm looking at here, and then if it does, you do not want to be buying during usually, or you like want to, but only at a way deep discount, right? So it does start to make sense, like in this region it starts to make sense to me, even during like the straight down phase, especially if you are heavy bullish on it fundamentally. Like if you are just buying TA, it's probably better to wait for the range. But if you are if you like know so much about BitTensor and you are very bullish on the thing itself, then like for example, I'm so heavy convinced on BTC, then you want to be buying simply the drops, right? It's like one sec. It's like the same when we were going down here, right? And then you basically had very similar pattern, right? So you can start buying in this region, and then if you did so during this pullback, it was very scary because at the time, it looked like this, and we were going, to 3K and 10K, and you remember. The reality is that if you DCA these, you spend lots of time underwater. That's true, especially this cycle. 300 days you spent underwater. But if you did so, you outperform everyone, or like most people, because most people, as we know, were sidelined during this move. Most people start to flip bullish only after we flipped 30K, and then I will have to go back to my tweet, which I'll find where I talked about it at this very time when we were down here. So I'm not talking hindsight here. I'm talking live when I share these, right? Uh, that's why I say we are dropping freaking alpha. Whew. Sometimes it's guys really saddening me how people are not appreciating the alpha. Sometimes very saddens me, and then they give too much respect to scammers.
That's true.
But
Because you've got a nice thick red box drawn at 53K with an arrow pointing up to it.
yeah,
Yeah. Is that what do you think what do you got here? Yeah.
one sec. I've already shared this many times, but it will still apply the same over and over again. This is like the golden rule, right? So as I was and I was sharing this, you can see June 14th. That was when we were around these prices, right? Somewhere around 20Ks. And I was saying my biggest mistake in the past cycles was that I was waiting for lower prices just as I was advised to. When the bull returns, it comes out of nowhere and you tend to get caught up in all the bearishness that you miss it completely. Exactly what happened. Exactly. And I didn't know back then it's going to be like this. I didn't know how long we're going to spend here. I just knew that markets will remain markets and price will repeat itself. And boy, it has. And what surprised me though is that like BTC went through many cycles and it has now established itself that it's here to stay, and still people saw that BTC is dead, right? People still believe that 10K, 3K, whatever. And that surprised me because it was never sure as this cycle that BTC is here to stay. But as I keep on reminding, price change with narratives. Sorry, narratives change with price. So when price is up, good stack. When price is down, bad stack. So yeah, you tend to not trust the next up move because all the past ones have failed, and the price is too high now anyway that you'll be waiting for the pullback that doesn't come. That's where we are now. Eventually, the feel of FOMO gets to you, but it's too late. That's where we are getting. Looking back, it's all obvious, right? It's all obvious now, just like this will be obvious. But in real time, it's not. We can always say how it was in hindsight. Experience and past examples teach us that people buying the breakdown of the quote unquote unbreakable 6K support were the real winners. Where guess what? Anyone that bought in this region, 18 to even like 25K were the real winners. And this applies to us as well, by the way. Uh, so so yeah, the same thing just keeps on repeating and repeating itself. And this cycle, you even had, just like in 2014, you had the big exchange blowing up. So everything.
It's the same over and over and over again. It's the same. But I think
Greed,
that the cycle,
greed doesn't change.
Yeah.
it feels like a lot of people were caught very, very surprised by this, the Q3 and Q4 run up that Bitcoin had. Very, very surprised. It surprised me too. I'm thankful that I got positioned for it largely, but it just it is hard not to get caught up in the bearishness because things get so dark for so long. Um, I know after the 64K top for Bitcoin, we dropped to 28K and then we actually went on to make a new all-time high at 69. That happened very quickly, right? Like that move from 28 to 69 happened quickly. But I mean, basically from May of maybe say March, April-ish, of 2021, it was pretty difficult price action, right around that first top for Bitcoin, even though we did go on to make a new all-time high. It was tough. It was very, very tough. And it's hard after 2 years plus of, arguably like traumatizing price action where pumps don't last. And every low that looks like it's going to hold doesn't hold. Uh, it's difficult to trust a move. And even right here, I find myself looking at this going, okay, what's Bitcoin at right now? Low 40, okay, 43.2, 43.3. It's like we're literally the exact price that we were during the last week of December, excluding the little pump that we had to 45K right on the yearly open. We're literally like almost at the high that we set last year. We're basically pushing the high. We're barely off of it. And I find myself going, oh man, am I too exposed right now? Maybe I should just sell everything. Like what if we go down? Because it's like you carry that feeling of the bear market with you where any little bit of money you have to protect. But if you think back to, the bull market, there are days like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, where you get leverage flushes and then you spend the next week, chopping, consolidating. Everybody thinks that we're going to go back down because we fill the wick a little bit and then we move higher. Yeah, Jackus, that's a great example. That's a really great example. It's probably the inverse of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally probably what's happening. It's just that right there. And I think a lot of altcoins are, they're going to be volatile. And if you have the stomach for it and you can hang in it, you'll be rewarded later if you're in the right ones. But you have to be comfortable in a bull market, which I would argue that we're in right now. You have to be comfortable with huge unrealized P&L deviations, huge flushes up and down. And it's difficult to do, because naturally you're attached to your money and you're attached to your profits, realized or unrealized. But yeah, I mean, you have to recognize the conditions that we're in. And sometimes the best move is to just hold through volatility and sit on your hands, even though you're carrying all of that bear market trauma with you where no pump ever held, and that's the truth of it. No pump held for 2 years. Everything sold off and got flushed. But is it possible that things are actually bullish now? Maybe.
This and ignore this week because okay.
You could even put the line chart on instead of candles, Jackus, if you don't want to see the wick.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
So I legit do think we are somewhere in the middle of of this, like this is the reaccumulation. There's more upside and then there's the possible distribution. Like I still think that we do, but I will adapt. For now, I remain bullish. It's my template that we will distribute between 48 to 60K. I could be wrong. For now, I remain bullish, and then we'll see, right? So yeah, but yeah, this where are you? Where are you? We had a range breakout, right? We had a range breakout. We had a range breakout here. Then you get the reaccumulation, and then there's the further upside. So, like, and you know what? I'm done here, Max, and I give you the chart back.
Mic
Give me
drop.
the chart back. Okay. Jackus, you cooked, man. That was some good stuff. That was some good stuff. That might actually be a good place to end the show, guys. It's Friday. We've been going for an hour 20. It's been great, guys. It's been really great. Thank you guys so much for being here. Just a reminder, if you haven't yet, please consider liking and then also subscribing to the channel if you are new. This is Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. It's our daily live YouTube and now X show. We are live Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern time with myself, Snorlax, Will's Outlook, Jackus, and Tucker, who's traveling today. So please consider helping support us by liking and subscribing, and then also checking out our partner. You will see their logo in the bottom right corner of your screen, presented by BingX. There, you can find a link to sign up and trade on BingX in the description of this video below. Definitely an awesome exchange worth checking out. And just a reminder to only ever trade and risk what you are willing to lose in its entirety. Leverage trading is not easy and should definitely be exercised with caution. So if you are going to check them out, just like any other leverage exchange, only risk what you are willing to lose. And guys, just a reminder again, please like and subscribe. And then one more thing, the first link in the description below will take you to our website, becausebitcoin.com/premium, where you can sign up for our premium Discord service. You get to basically hang out with the entire Because Bitcoin team and community, me, Snorlax, Will, Jackus, Tucker, Wabi, Ed, Valentin, literally everybody, the entire team and community. We do upwards of 2 hours every single day of private voice chats with the entire team and community, narrating every single thing that's going on in the markets. We also have active positions channels where we share exactly how we are placing bets in these markets, both crypto and legacy. So if you want to see behind the curtain on how we are actually trading and take your game to the next level, definitely consider checking that out. You can find that in the description below. Again, it's becausebitcoin.com/premium if you are watching on X. Now, the price of our premium services are going to go up significantly next year. Well, it's so weird. It's 2024 now. What am I talking about?
It is weird.
The prices are going up very soon this year, sometime in Q1, because we are rolling out our new product called the BB Terminal. The BB Terminal could, in the simplest form, be thought of as a Bloomberg terminal, but for crypto guys. You'll actually be able to execute trades through it. It'll have all the analytics and data that you need to take your game to the next level. And that will be part of the Discord bundle. So it'll be a Telegram, a Discord, and BB Terminal all included. Right now, the price is $149.99 per month. Again, that is going up very soon as we start to roll out the terminal. If you want to be grandfathered into that price of $149.99 per month, definitely consider signing up now, because when prices go up, there won't be any discounts. There won't be any, hey, I forgot to sign up back in February and January before the terminal dropped. Could I get it? Nope, you can't. We're giving you so much time to get in, guys. So if you want to get grandfathered in at the current price forever, which will age very, very well, you are accumulating BB very, very cheap here. Definitely consider checking that out. Again, the link is the first one in the description below, becausebitcoin.com/premium. So let's kick it over to Tommy to say a final farewell until next week. So Tommy, over to you.
Thanks, Max. Yeah, like Max said, all the links in the bio or in the description of this YouTube video. Would love to see y'all come hang out in the Discord with us, hit some trades with us, everything in between. Make sure to tune in for Market Talk with the legendary King Wabi in the afternoon. 4:15 to 4:30 Eastern time is typically when that show gets started. Yeah, honestly, it is very surreal, Max, that it is 2024. I don't even know what to what to think about that. But we're happy for you guys sticking here for through last year, being here early this year. It's going to be a great year. Very much looking forward to 2024 and everything that it has in store for us. You know, personally as well as in markets. But thanks again, guys. We will be back next week. Happy Friday and have a great rest of your week. Thanks again.